Brakti Hawa, Brakti How Shai, Brakti Hawa, Brakti How Shai, Brakti Hawa, Brakti How Shai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Shalom. Double honors to the apostles and bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the prophets that are underneath the banner of Great Millstone and affiliate camps. Shalom. I was just, a few days ago saw a news article regarding, a whole host of police officers from various parts of America that are leaving the police force. Okay, but I want to focus more on New York. Okay, since it's held as a real symbol. Especially with the whore of Babylon, that statue. But that's a representation of it. America's a whore anyway, but you know what I mean. The statue of liberty, so-called liberty. And then I was also, trying to see what's happening in the UK as well. So, according to a report by the Independent, almost 9,200 police officers left the police service in the year to March 2023, up to 1,000 on the previous 12 months. And the proportion departing through voluntary resignation is rocketing. Okay. So the Police Federation warns of a recruitment and retention crisis amid anger over pay and conditions. The trend could threaten the government's achievement of Boris Johnson's target to recruit 20,000 extra officers over 3 years, which was hit in April. Now, it's just like the army, right? I remember as a child, the minimum height for a police officer was 5'8". Okay. And for the most part, they were Edomites. Okay. And there's now, and very rarely you would see female police officers. Okay. They were there, but very, very rarely you would see them. Okay. I remember coming up in the 80s as a child, I never hardly ever saw a female police officer. Very rarely, if I did see one. It started popping out in the 90s, early 2000s. And I'm talking about the UK. Right? And now, with people not wanting to join the police force, they're dropping their standards in terms of training, in terms of self-defense classes, recruitment processes, as well as ages. They've got damn near teenagers leaving high school or college, which is like an extension of high school here. University is what you guys call college in America. There's I'll put it in simple terms. Basically, you got youngsters leaving at the age of 16 to 18, trying to join the police officers and trying to join the police, and a lot of them succeed. Okay. A lot of these lads haven't even fully, developed into like a strapping young man. When you're 18, 19 years old, you start getting wider, taller, and things like that. These guys look like they're going in what's the word? In reverse. It's like they're not exceeding, they're receding. It's like they're regressing. I remember when we were teenagers in the early 90s. A guy who was 16 years old was at least 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot or more. The girls that were 18, 19 years old, and 17, 18 years old in high school look like grown women. It's like now these youngsters today, they look like children even when they leave school for the most part. So they drop their standards in policing. They drop their standards in the recruitment process. So they bring in more and more youngsters, and they'll be happy with their pay because it's probably their first, second, maybe even their third job. And compared to what they were doing before, and also they've got that badge of authority as well, telling people what to do. This is going to be a sweet spot for a lot of youngsters to join the police because they're having people don't want to join anymore. Okay, obviously they're putting the face of the financial crisis, the pay not being enough to cover your bills and your basic amenities and your basic requirements in this day and age. They've got that factor, as well as the fact that a lot of police at the top also know of what's coming down the pipeline. All right, and those that have relatives that are right at the top in the police force, that are part of these societies within societies, if you know what I mean. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Right? If they've got this sort of green light and got that information is going to trickle down to any relatives, any nephews, any possible nieces that they may have in the force, and then by word of mouth, like Chinese whispers, as they say, right? This word travels, and a lot of people that know that it's something's coming down the pipeline are leaving the police force, leaving the police force. You saw the you saw the movie World War Z, right? When Brad Pitt was in the store, I think it was a CVS or it was some kind of I think it was department store, not or a supermarket or somewhere or a pharmacy of some kind. He was trying to get a few things for his children, medicines and maybe some food to eat. He had a rifle in his hand, and a police officer runs in. A Jake police officer, an Israelite police officer, a so-called black man, runs in, right? And Brad puts his hands up, assuming that the police officer is going to say to him, "Okay, why have you got a firearm in your hand?" Basically, the police officer ran right past him. Okay, all blasé, didn't give a crap. Why? Because these police officers, when the time comes, are not going to be worried about you. They're not going to be worried about your children. They're not going to be worried about you, your wife, your girlfriend, your daughters, you. They're not going to be caring about whether you've eaten or not, whether you slept, whether you're safe. They're going to be worried about their own families. That's why in that movie, even like World War Z, they showed you the police force ain't going to care. They're going to be worried about themselves. They're going to be thinking about number one. They're not going to care about you. Okay? So this is just another way the society is going to fall. They're putting so many different spanners in the works, the financial aspect. They're dropping the recruitment processes as well. They're dropping the recruitment time as well. People are leaving in droves. So there's not going to be no 999, which is a number here in the UK, for you ladies to call. A lot of you women that are in the West that want to be, your Black Widows, your GI Janes. You're going to find out the hard way. Like the scriptures say, you're going to be trodden down like a mire in the street. And a mire is a swampy, boggy ground. You're basically going to get stomped out. Yeah? So 9,200 coppers have left so far. All right? This is the UK. Let me see. What's this date? Yeah, this is 26th of July 2023. This is the Independent. Yeah, the same one we're reading here. A reputable news authority in this world, the Independent, or a reputable organization that provides the news. Obviously, you got to pick the meat from the bones. Okay. Now, what does this mean by 1 in 5 police officers plan to quit amid rising anger over pay? We know about that. Working conditions. We know about that. Obviously, if there's less coppers, they're going to have more. There's going to be a lot more overtime as well, and treatment, which a lot of for the most part, coppers should be happy if they're getting overtime, if they're getting any overtime at all, unless they're getting paid a flat rate, right? Then on top of that, it says and treatment by the government. Now they haven't elaborated on the treatment by the government. What do they mean by the treatment by the government? They're probably being treated like second-class citizens. They're probably not having their voices heard or whatever. But also, what else can they be being treated? They're probably being treated like scapegoats as well. The coppers are going to use. Basically, the coppers are being thrown out, to the wolves. The same way they use and use soldiers. Like for example, the movie The 4th of July with Tom Cruise. That was a perfect example of a so-called patriot of America, an Edomite that loves America, the red, white, and blue, wanted to fight for his country, found out the hard way that it's all BS. And a lot of these coppers are leaving prior to anything major happening to them. Okay? I'm not going to elaborate too much because Esau with his news. If you don't know, if you actually believe that there's a so-called government or your MPs or your politicians, you know, or your political infrastructure or your government actually cares about you and they care for your betterment, then you're sadly lost. All right, let's go to the one in New York. There's one here. NYPD officers leave in droves for better pay. Same thing's happening over there. Okay, worldwide. It's a situation about pay worldwide. All right, and obviously other situations as well. But they're going to need something for the news, right? They're always going to pull out the situation about money. Okay, while they're giving you bread and circuses, about who killed Tupac and what's happening with Johnny Depp in his court cases, as well as these staged uh, what do they call it? These youngsters when they run into stores and they steal flash mobs. There's all of that stage stuff because they want to basically give you things so you can entertainment as well as so-called news that will hit your more entertainment uh, factor in your mind than actually getting knowledge. They're giving you that kind of information because it's hitting your entertainment instead of your knowledge. And all the major things that are happening are happening behind the curtains, behind all those bread and circuses and all that BS so-called news that they're presenting in front of you. Okay, I bet this figure is more as well. Mm. Okay, so this was 7th of August 2022. Okay, the NYPD is still hemorrhaging cops because there's certain areas of New York where they've legalized a woman to sell her body, right? And there's certain parts of America, as well as New York, they're not going to come for small issues. They're only going to come for any major issues. You know, a lot of people are even saying that to certain stores not to stop people that are trying to steal. Just leave them, let it be. And this is all done by design to crash the economy, to give you the charagma, Revelation 13:16. Okay, the MO to the T to the B. There was one with 3,000 coppers. One second. Okay, this is the New York Post, 25th of November. Right, so just about a week ago. Over 2,500 cops turned their badges so far in 2023. Okay, they've got budget cuts as well. And also, with these budget cuts are happening in the UK, there was also, I think it was a female politician or some kind of major key figure in the UK that was attacked. And also, um, they're blaming the budget cuts here in the UK as well for the lack of police. Hence the reason this woman was attacked here in the UK, and she was a key figure in politics. I don't recollect her name. I tried to find her earlier on, but couldn't find her. Couldn't recollect her name. That is going to lead to, a society with a whole host of crime. A whole host of crime. Oh, gotta jump out of this. Page is freezing. All right, but we can see here 2,516 badges so far turned in this year, and that's the NYPD. Let's jump out of this page. Okay. So this is just going to lead to, Second Ezra's, right? I'm going to read from Second Ezra's 15, Second Ezra's 15:15 to verse 18. Okay. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Obviously, everybody can't be the head honcho. Now, every area is going to have crews, gangs, okay, societies, secret societies, uh, racial societies where it's about your own race, or religious societies where it's only about your own religion. okay? Racists, skinheads, KKK members, gang members. You can have all kinds of people out there. All right. Now, where there's no order, there's chaos. All right. And with chaos is going to become destruction. People fighting against one another with no food, no money. Okay. The need for want. The lust for want. A lot of people are going to get attacked because nothing's going to be there to stop them. So what's going to stop somebody taking your wife, your daughter, you, your goods, your food, you away? There's not going to be no police. There's not going to be, oh, let me wave that police officer down, or let me call 911 or 999. Okay, so as we're exiting 2023 and entering 2024, is definitely going to be a very interesting, Lord willing, a very chaotic year. And hopefully things speed up, which they are. Okay. Second Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. Sedition meaning that people are causing up, they're basically stirring the pot, they're causing a ruckus. They're causing, like for one party to go against another. Someone's going to say, oh yeah, forget about them. Let's go this way. Those people ain't right, you know? They're causing that division among men, that sedition among men. They're stirring the pot so things get wild out there. For there shall be sedition among men, basically going against one another verbally for the time being. Then it'll be physical and invading one another, which they're going to do because of the lack of goods and services and food. And a woman is going to be a massive commodity, okay? Because once a man has had, his thirst taken care of, his hunger taken care of, yeah, to burn them calories off to adjust his stomach and his belly, what's he going to want? He's going to want to work that off. And there's going to be no police, no security. He doesn't have to even, make an effort to even talk to a girl or to catch her eye, because all that's going to be out the window because times are going to change. And he's just going to take whichever woman he wants, whatever age he wants. That's how vile it's going to get out here. And some of these men that are like that are going to do these vile acts. Some of them are sodomites as well. So they're going to come for you, you weirdos out there too. Okay. Verse 16, 2 Ezra 15:16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. That's true because, while the police is being defunded, certain key figures here in the UK and the US are being attacked. Okay. We know we know that they stage it, they have actors and actresses, but it's always being staged by Yahweh Shem Yashai, making it happen for what? For an expected end. And what's that expected end? Is society to fall and to, Lord willing, whatever your position is, to get beamed into those chariots. Yeah? And it's going in that direction. This is what we want. All right? Okay. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 17, this is when martial law kicks in. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay, so if you want to go into a city from one place to another, all right, you live in a city, it's a 10-mile radius, and you want to go into from town A to town B. How are you going to go? Oh, I want to go and see my mother. Oh, I want to go and see my sister. Oh, I want to go and see my other wife. Oh, I want to go and see my girlfriend. Oh, I want to go into next, I want to go into the town. I ain't seen my woman in a week. I want to get some. You won't be able to. You might not even see your loved ones again because there'll be roadblocks. There'll be stations set up. They won't let you go through. Verse 17, 2 Ezra 15:17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Verse 18, for because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, houses are going to be bum rushed, messed up, bombed, grenaded, because it's going towards Jacob's trouble. They're going to give you all these bread and circuses, all this information, all everything to make you feel at ease and to appease you, you know, show you maybe a sort of like a march of the American army. They're going to show you all those big swole guys at the front thinking that, yeah. Oh, and then they're going to show you the guns and weapons and the armor that they're having. And then you're going to think to yourself, oh man, these people around the world can't do nothing against us. You know, we're America. You know, we've run SHIT for so many uh, hundreds of years. The whole world is afraid of us, especially those people that actually believe the news media and can't really pick the meat from the bones. So they're going to give you all these bread and circuses. They're going to say that everything's okay, jobs are rising, the economy is getting bigger. You know, the economy is increasing. You know, the war has started, the war has stopped. You know, they're going to give you all sorts of different types of information. They're going to be tugging you every which way. You know, that's why a lot of people are in depression now. First Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction, cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. It's like the movie 2012. When you see the guy who drives the limo, is it John Cusack? Yeah, John Cusack. He drops his he takes his children to some kind of park for a picnic or whatever, but it wasn't the same. Everything was cordoned off. Spoke to a so-called nutcase radio activist or whatever, and he's talking about the end of the world, and he had information, right? Obviously, we know what they mean by end of the world. They're talking about the whole world ending. The whole world ain't gonna end. But in reality, Esau's rulership's ending. Second Ezra 6:9. Esau is the end of this world. Jacob is the beginning of that followeth, right? And then in the movie, when he drops his children off early back to his ex-wife and her new husband, the plastic surgeon, right? There's some tremor, there's some earthquakes, and then they get back in the house. They're in the kitchen, and on the news, there's a politician. I believe it's Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, and he says, or the politician says, I believe is whoever it was, says, everything's fine, there's peace, there's safety, nothing's gonna happen, everything's hunky dory, everything's gonna be all right. As soon as the person says that, what happens? A huge tremor, things start falling through the ground. Okay, and that made this scripture stand out even more. First Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right. Most Jakes know what's coming. It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time, but we know what's coming. You know, it's like a boxer going into a ring. You know, the boxer's been training, been maintaining himself, been working out on point with his diet. You know, he's ready. He's ready in the mind, ready in the spirit, ready in the spirit, in the mind, and the body. He's expecting a fight, right? So he's got some kind of chance to make it through, right? So we're like the boxer who's trained or training, for an expected end. The boxer's expected end is to win. Our expected end is to win also spiritually. Lord willing, to get into the chariots and get through every facet and every angle or every curveball the Lord's going to throw at us, and to basically still hit that ball at the park. No matter what angle it comes in at. You know, or whichever way the hook comes, you bob and weave. You know, and these people out here that don't know what's coming, they don't know that this place is about to end. If you mention to them about so-called UFOs and chariots, and you mention to them about the economy crashing and women are going to get raped, and people are going to get attacked, society's going to fall, the financial system's going to crash, they look at you like you got 10 heads. They think you're crazy. Seriously. And these are the same people that actually believe that Osama bin Laden was a real person and he did the Twin Towers. These people like that, who actually believe that nonsense, that have no idea how this world really is, they're going to get caught hardcore. All right. At least with a hopeful elect, or whatever your lot is in this thing, you have an inclination of what's coming. All right. And Jacob's trouble is definitely going to come. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. It's going to get bad out here, man. All right. Two major cities in the world, New York and London, okay, or the UK, and and America is just huge, right? So we've been hearing about loads of coppers leaving their work, not leaving the workforce, okay, and a lot of key figures in work generally are leaving their C level or C suite positions, and they're giving these jobs to so-called black women, so-called brown women, women of color, and they're giving these jobs to Jake. Jake is getting all these C-suite jobs, paying these six-figure salaries. These Edomites are giving these jobs away now. You know why? Because they know something's coming. They're giving you dumb ninjas all these roads. They're naming all these roads and streets out of you now, giving you a so-called flowers. They've done this for Fat Joe, I believe, and Big Pun place or Big Pun Road or whatever. They named a street after him. The man died 23 years ago. He's dead and gone. He's in the kingdom. We're not in the kingdom. He's in the spiritual realm, ready to be born through one of the loins of the men of the Lord, because he is an Ephraimite. They're naming all these roads after rappers and so-called, so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians. Even saying they're going to put that so-called black woman on the American dollar. What was her name again? What was that? What was the black woman's name on the dollar bill? Black woman dollar bill. I don't want to. What was her name? Harriet Tubman. Yeah, they're going to put her there. They're not going to let. That was just a suggestion. They're not going to do that. They're giving you all these things now because they know America's going to be destroyed. They don't care. And some of you, Jakes, I think that America's going to be there forever, man. You just can't see it, can you? This place is done, all right? And I'm excited, all right? So this is a beautiful, great, great, great situation. It's a thing that's happening. People don't want to join the army, which goes to show that they're going to lower passing levels when it comes to fitness, your mental agility, your athletic ability, and whatever ability you need to pass, they're going to take that away. And they're going to let anybody in. And this which means that a great, they're going to force youngsters and people up to the age of 45 to join the army and the armed forces. A draft is going to come. Okay? And they're going to use those same draft, and they're going to use the same soldiers that have creeped in as so-called migrants, immigrants, or whatever, living in these hotels. They're going to get that call. They're going to get that little bleep, beep, whatever. All right? And they're going to be armed, ready, and ready to roll when the time comes. And they'll be doing these roadblocks. Okay? Because there'll be no police. Okay? Some of the police will probably stay. Okay? Because they'll be given more, they'll be given, they'll be given more carrots. They'll offer them this and that and the third to stay, especially the senior police. So we'll have some of them around. We'll be joined onto the martial law troops. But for the most part, it'll be the martial law and they'll have a draft coming in. So this is just a beautiful thing that the police are leaving, which goes to show this society is finished. When there's no safety out there, okay? When there's no law and order, what's going to come out of that? Nothing but disorder, right? And how are you going to correct that disorder? Through lockdowns and martial law, all right? So the police is being defunded left, right, and center, all right? And this is a beautiful thing because we have just entered December 2023, and in less than a month, we're in 2024. Barak Diya Hal Bashim Yashai, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwame Shalom.